We are about to go and see Heaven is for Real, because heaven is for totes real, guys. For yo. And this is Bob.
Or Elizabeth. Or Stephen.
Many names.
I believe it's Stephen, Mark, Patrick, Road, something.
He scares me sometimes.
I don't know how often Bob will be in these videos, but will be in at least one today, probably two.
Probably. Don't know.
And has minioned before in Rock and Rule, but you'll have to squint to find him. Crotch.
Don't do that!
I should just start a movie review show, an atheist perspective on Christian cinema.
So, a deist, a theist, and an atheist go and see Christian PlayStation film.
It was so bad.
Work out amongst yourselves who's whom. Get in the see this little screen?
There's
If your face appears on the little screen, people can see it at home.
I don't want to
This is Elizabeth,
Aye.
or Bob, or Stephen, or Road, or whatever the fuck.
Road.
Or new person who minioned in Rock and Rule.
Yeah.
But you saw the little pre-credits part I did, when we were going to go to
Oh
cinema.
yeah, you did do that. So we went and saw Heaven is for Reals, yo.
Totally for reals.
Based on a true story. So
I just want to say at the end of this, they have what the characters are up to now, and they have Colton Burpo is a normal teenager, and I'm like, if you gotta have a movie stating that you're a normal teenager, you might not be. The lady doth protest too much.
yeah, it's
I'm totally normal, I swear.
That's why it was funded. He was tired of everyone thinking he was a freak. Next up, Chris Chan is Normal the movie.
Oh, Bob, shift yourself up a little bit. Also, you have to feel the car boobs. It's tradition.
no.
Feel the damn car boobs.
Boobs. Oh, boobs.
there
That
was-
one moment in the film. Boobs.
Nipple.
Yeah, we saw nipples in a PG-rated movie. This is like the best bit of nipple action I've seen in a movie like this. Okay, years ago when I was like 11, I watched Logan's Run.
Jesus, that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
I watched like Logan's Run. It was on a Saturday afternoon, and it has full frontal nudity. From I can't remember who the woman was, but it was there, and I was like, "Huh, that wasn't expected."
I've never actually seen it.
You got mainstream films.
No,
I haven't
Logan's,
seen anything.
Logan's Run is like Divergent, but it makes sense. Actually,
She-
no, it doesn't, but it's better.
She grew up on random films. I grew up on a big box of 50 films for a tenner. I.e., shit that never actually got released, like Crazy Moon and Smoke Jumpers and The Final Countdown, the bad one, and some random one with a lot of nudity in it, but it was 12 rated because it was all done in very dark lighting. And
So, okay.
So there's this kid, and there is this pastor who apparently is also a fireman and a coach and plays softball and does repairs on places.
And installs garage doors.
And
has a huge ass house that can only be a parish house, otherwise, what the hell?
And he is apparently his life is the most important thing in the entire universe because everyone's so very interested in him. And his son eventually gets appendicitis, and then he apparently maybe dies, or more likely has
They
a
brought him
dream.
into operation for a burst appendix, and the doctor's like, he's gonna die. Yep, he's gonna die.
Yeah, and then miraculously comes back to life.
But here's the one thing that really bothered me throughout this entire film. That house is huge, and it's shown to have like a huge big basement room, a huge big double garage, a couple of extra rooms for him to kick about in and go and be moody in. Yet his two kids share a bedroom?
Yeah, actually.
What the hell, man?
He's trying to give them complexes.
That house is bigger than the cinema that we were just in.
Yeah.
Pastors' children need complexes, otherwise it doesn't work.
Pastors' children tend to go out and become drug addicts and crazy people for a while.
See, my
Well,
thing
this one,
is-
we got the crazy person part. It's okay. They made a movie about it.
Yeah.
One of the kids is also obsessed with Spider-Man, which is great because Sandman is just sitting in this film, looking pissed off that he was in this movie.
I didn't think it was Sam, man. I thought it was Old Lee Evans.
No,
No,
it's
it's-
Thomas Hayden Church.
It's totally Old Lee
He's like,
Evans.
Yeah. It was,
I was in Spider-Man 3.
That woman.
I was one of the only good parts of Spider-Man 3. And now I'm in this. I'm not even going to pretend to not be seething at this development.
that woman who was his wife sometimes and not at others.
Yeah, I noticed that.
She's been in a lot of films, hasn't she?
I don't recognize her.
I
I was too
recognize-
busy being all like, wow, Thomas Hayden Church, I hope he doesn't run into that kid's Spider-Man shrine. There's going to be a fight.
But no, I've seen her in other Christian movies, and she's always mad at God.
Everyone
Really,
in this
I've-
film was mad at God.
Really, I've watched a fuckload of Christian movies. I don't recognize her, but
I
maybe
don't know
will.
why, but I recognize her. I just saw her at the first scene. I'm like, doesn't she always play the kind of woman with a dead kid who's angry at God about it?
He totally called it when she was about to say it.
She,
He called the exact line.
she looks like Maggie Gallagher from Nom,
I don't know.
American Christian woman. But okay, the kid sees Jesus now in the shots of heaven. Well, and their heaven is, okay. Comparing this to other movie heavens, it's better than Escape from Hell, but it's less funny looking, and it's not as good as What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
It's Cloudland from Super Mario 3.
Yeah, to me it looked bad CGI.
Oh yeah,
Heaven's,
it was.
If Heaven's bad CGI, sign me up for hell.
And they
It's
had
Dude, heaven's for people who quietly sit and write ledgers and like houseplants. Hell's full of prostitutes and drug addicts and murderers. Sign me up for hell.
and at least okay, they had angels, singing, and they were singing and shit, and they weren't going for the basic humans with wings type angel, which was nice, but they only went part way there. Why couldn't we have like wheels within wheels covered in eyes, or multiple heads covered, on fire with like 18 wings?
What, the lion with 6 wings and so many pairs of eyes and shit.
Yeah, though, if they're going part
Yeah.
way to the fucking insane angels, go all the way. If you're not going to have just regular guys with wings, then go all the way. Especially
Sorry.
you're paying for the CGI anyway.
Also, there was a song in this that I don't know the name of, but it annoys me. It goes da 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 your redeeming love, and it was sung about 100 fucking million times in the film, and the song really upsets me because I have had bad experiences with that being sung. At
Wait a
funerals.
sec, that song killed your family?
No, but it was there in the aftermath.
Oh shit.
They preemptively did it.
Sorry.
Death by music, that's a new one. But like,
Come back. Get your foot out of your mouth and come back.
I know, so much wrong. Like,
Okay, last time, a few days ago, we
So-
took notes for See Me Dance for season 6, and he had never seen a Christian
Yeah,
exploitation film
it's-
before that, and so this was his second Christian exploitation film.
In a couple of days.
I
Yeah.
feel they're trying to break my mind with this stuff.
Dude, I watched the Judas Project last night. I live tweeted it. It's Jesus never existed, but he was born 2,000 years later, and he's like a redneck in America in like the early 90s, and the government tried to make him, use him against the commies. And the movie is so cheap, they couldn't afford cheese. They couldn't afford
Yeah.
loaves and fishes,
I
so
saw
they had
that.
loaf and cheese. But then they had the guy bringing cheese to like Jesus to split into billions of pieces. It was clearly a slightly open cardboard box painted to look like cheese.
Like,
And then they had Jesus dying, and then all these ghosts come up to the cloudy sky-anus that was God. And then of course one of them is this American Civil War colonel from the South looking at
I'm sorry.
this Jewish guy who was Caiaphas, looking at him really annoyed, going like, you killed Jesus. I might have been a slave owner, but
sorry,
I'm going to heaven.
A kilogram block of cheese from Iceland is £5.
you can
Yeah.
get standard little blocks
movie-
of cheese for a pound.
This movie couldn't afford cheese, but it could afford to have 2 actors that I recognized.
Like, who funds these films?
Also, in this
Depends on
film,
the film.
Jesus was Sholto Copley.
Yeah,
Jesus was so creepy. Like,
they show a painting of him, and it's Sholto Copley from Maleficent.
It's Sholto Copley with a slightly broken nose, just kind of looking at the camera like, "Arr, I'm a pirate, Jesus."
yeah, the eyes on it were so creepy.
But Jesus is a white man with greeny bluey eyes.
Except in heaven, where he was slightly darker.
No, he was just in the shadow. They didn't
I-
want to show his face too early.
I thought they
Nice.
went for the darker skinned Jesus, and I was like, oh, cool. They're actually being like, oh, he's from the Jerusalem
Middle
and
East.
all. Middle East, yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's
What,
what he
you
should
mean
look
make
like.
a Middle Eastern man Middle Eastern looking?
Yeah. But then it was like you pointed out, and I was like, no, he's white. And I was like, whoa,
And then
what?
it starts off with this girl painting the pictures of Jesus, and it's like, this is based on a true story, and there's like Lithuania, present day, and I'm like, excuse me, if this is the present day, well, that means today, it means you cannot have made your movie and have it be based on a true story, because this
said
obviously
exactly
must be the
same
past.
thing. Also,
That must be the past. You could have just said Lithuania, but you specified present day.
Yeah.
That means it Because it's a true story, it cannot be happening right now.
Yeah,
So-
plus then at the end, whenever the new story seems to be really new, the kid is still like 4?
Yeah, that was like 2000. Because, yeah, it's... They knew about this in like the year 2000 or whatever.
And the kid's a teenager now.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
easily.
this makes no fucking sense.
No,
The
that
chronology-
woman's son died in 2003.
This is supposed to be set like 2000 or something.
God.
Well, then he died 3 years in the future.
No. It couldn't be set in like 2000 because the angry I hate God lady's son died in 2009.
No, he died in 2003.
The
If he died in 2003 and he was born 1990, that means
the younger
he was
brother,
13.
the younger brother that the woman announced she was pregnant with was born in 2003, according to the end credits.
I don't know.
The chronology in this is fucked up.
So is the pacing. In the middle of the film, the pastor's also a fireman, and he gets a there's a fire, and he's like, oh shit, gotta go fix this fire. I'll have sex with you when I come home. And there's just a caravan on fire. And this guy's like, my family's in there. And he walks into the place, and it's full of creepy puppets. And he walks out, and the guy's dead.
Never
What?
watch it again.
how long was he in there? Like it's walk in. It's clear. Oh,
My
he did.
My family's in there. No, just a bunch of creepy puppets. Oh shit.
And you got all these people being all like, "Excuse me, you know your son might not have been dead or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, we got a pastor here who's got financial issues."
Yeah, they never resolved that.
No, what? He gets paid in carpets.
I said to Bob at the end of the film whenever they were playing all the happy music and be like, yeah, I preached again and my son met Jesus. And it's like, oh, honey, there's another baby on the way. And then he was like, I just turned to him and went, yeah, another mouth to feed. That'll solve the $50,000 of debt that you have to accumulate by
No,
next
but
week.
do you know what will?
week.
A book deal and a movie based on it.
Well, yeah.
You got a
Actually-
pastor with a financial issue, and you got a son who has grown up surrounded by Christian myth stuff, who has a dream whenever he's under the operating theatre. This is really fucking obvious.
Yeah. Also, the scientific method used by the dad to be like, oh,
Is
yeah.
he telling the truth?
Is he telling the truth? He went and got a group photo with the son's like, I met your grandfather. He died before you were born, but I met him in heaven. It's like,
I was like-
it's like a picture of the grandfather. Is this
Is
him?
him.
Nope. Is this him? Nope. Nobody wears glasses in heaven. And then it's like, he goes and gets a group photo with the grandfather and he points to one person in the group photo. Is this him? And the son's like, yeah, that's him. It's like, why can't you just hold out the group photo and ask you to pick which one is him?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Or-
no loading the dice so they're all women except for the guy.
Yeah, or like get the what do I call it? Just tell the son what did he look like, you know? Because then when he says he looked like this, it goes, ah,
And then we
shit,
see-
he's telling the truth.
And then we see more flashbacks to heaven, and like, you know, he's got a sister who was miscarried,
Yeah.
and she looked like the mother, but CGI to look like a small girl.
Also, he felt her ass
Yeah,
in heaven.
really awkwardly too. It was just
4-year-old, it was like, hug,
oh.
ass, hug.
It's like, oh no.
The boy playing Colton, he looked okay.
He couldn't act.
He seemed like a
Yeah.
robot who was taking the anti-Parkinson's drug, so he was constantly like this: heaven, heaven, I was in heaven, 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 heaven. Am I being over the top?
A little tiny bit.
But not much.
Just a little. Just a little.
It's like, I was in heaven.
He was constantly spinning his fucking head.
Like at one point he seems really kind of okay. He's a normal kid. Then he goes to heaven. And it's like, why are you possessed?
Then they're in the hospital, and the hospital's like, yeah, you owe us $38,000. And the dad's like, but I only extended it once. No, you extended it twice. No, it was once. No, it was twice. And the kid's like, I'm way upstairs, bye. Goes up to this kid with cancer or something. It's like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to hurt you anymore. Everything's going to be okay. And the dad's just like,
Did he just walk up to a girl with cancer and just pretty much tell her you're going to die like really damn soon? Because that's like evil.
You know, and for all we know, the dad might, when the scene ended, the dad might have been all like, "Hey, girl with cancer, how come you have eyebrows if you've been through chemo?" I think you're faking.
for the same reason that Daenerys Targaryen has black eyebrows. You can't pay girls enough to shave
Oh,
themselves.
Game of Thrones.
Well, Daenerys could have got the eyebrows, bleached. Would have made more fucking sense. Bleaching your eyebrows has got to be easier than bleaching your hair. I have yellow hair, by the way.
We know.
No, this has been the first time it's been okay.
Oh,
I'm
she has
not
yellow
sure.
hair now.
Yeah, there's a reason for this, but I'm not telling you.
It's a secret. He knows.
Do you?
No.
No, I do. You told me.
Oh.
I'm in and stuff.
I give him hints.
I know things. But like, oh my god, this was. I love the Spider-Man, the perpetual Spider-Man knockoff, as you pointed out.
Yeah, they have a Spider-Man figurine that is not official Marvel product.
But it's perpetually with the kid, and I was like, oh, he's got a Spider-Man.
And then he gets obsessed with the spider, so then it's like... Smalley's child might actually say, I want the spider if I play with Spider-Man, so then they give him a tarantula to hold.
Yeah, but that was another big bit of bad parenting in the film. Sorry, Stephen, I'll let you speak in a second. But they take the kids on a trip to Denver, and Denver has a butterfly place that allows you to hold the tarantula. On the way home from this trip, both kids get incredibly sick, and one kid ends up nearly dying on the operating table. It's like, I want to hold the spider now. And Dad's like, well, I'll take you right back to Denver. I'm not going to put any correlation between you getting sick and going there.
Like, that scene scared me. I hate spiders. No. Just no.
He invented a breed of spider for in his house because he decided they're too fast.
They're too fast. They move like lightning.
I mean,
they're gone.
There's a blood smear on the wall that looks like I put it there, and he said it was a spider.
It's like this. It's easily... Like, my shoe barely fit the thing. It was horrible for a person with arachnophobia. If you have arachnophobia, live alone. It makes you conquer your fear of spiders because no one's there to kill it for you.
I just use a Hoover. Or I pick them up by their little legs and throw them into the cage with my bearded dragon. She eats them. It's hilarious.
Have you seen her Hoover? It's a Henry. The hose wasn't big enough.
Henry Hoovers are the best because they make a little sucking noise. The Scots and it's like... No, it's even better. I just grab my bearded dragon nihilist and set her beside the spider, or grab the spider and put it beside her, and she's just like...
See, this is the problem we didn't have when we had cats, because the cats perpetually eat everything. If it's smaller than them and it moves quite fast, there's food.
But, yeah, I don't understand where their money problems were coming from. The guy had 5 fucking jobs.
It's because he can't get an accept payment in carpets.
And all, but he's a pastor, so his house is paid for by the church, so he doesn't have a mortgage.
But she kept saying they had to pay for utilities or whatever. So.
Oh my God! What, like $400 a month?
He's got a pastor's salary.
Well, there's the $400.
They live well.
And he apparently brought in a lot of extra people. They were saying about how he was such a great pastor, so great that if he talks about God too much, they're going to fire him.
Yeah, if you talk about your son having a near-death experience and meeting God, we're going to fire you. So, even though churches don't work at all like that, there was a lot of issues I had with how their churches work together. Number one, the Kirk of Session can't randomly meet and fire the pastor. The Kirk Session, sorry, not the Kirk of Session. The Kirk of Session is the head of the Kirk Session, which we were never told who it was. But another one was they kept having in church random soloists just singing at the front. I have been to a lot of different denominations on the Protestant side of the churches, which I assume this was, because it looked like it. And I've never been to a church where they just had a soloist singing. It's always been congregational singing.
Yeah.
Rural Nebraska church, where you get a note where they get pissed off at you if you're credulous.
It's kind of like karaoke.
No wonder that church doesn't usually do very well.
I went to the church, and I wasn't scared. I was alone, though. And I opened the door, and I saw something beautiful.
I believe in Jesus. Get out of our church!
I didn't get that. It's like, okay, these are all Christians, but he mentions heaven. These are freaking the shit out. Isn't that a good thing?
I'm sorry about the noise, folks, but it's really warm.
Yeah, it's boiling in there, dude.
AC needs to be on.
Windows.
AC can turn off.
And I was like,
So many fucking stupid things to talk about.
Yeah, it was just... like the title pretty much sums it up, and the title said 3 or 4 times in his final speech.
yeah, like
It's
twice in a
heaven is
row.
for real, yo. That's pretty much the entire point of the film. I went to heaven. No, you didn't, son. I did though, Daddy. I met your grandfather.
That's your granddad. My sister.
But you didn't. Yes, I did, Mummy. I met your miscarried child.
What
Are they Irish?
I don't...
I'm Irish!
Your grandfather would be really annoyed at you for hearing you say that.
Depends which one you pick.
Why? I don't...
Actually, both.
I win.
I still don't get, like, the wife at one point got really upset, thinking the
You're
husband
throwing
was...
stuff.
Why are you caring about God, you damn pastor?
Why are you
do you
caring
care about
about
God? Care about money, and if our kids are safe, I'm going to throw mugs around the kitchen.
Like, what was it? It was like...
It was like Kramer versus Kramer, but religious and insane.
She was really pissed at him trying to prove heaven, so... Isn't it entirely possible for him to go to the kid and say, your mommy once had, you know, the baby sister, and then he goes and tells the mum?
But they
And
didn't
then-
know if it was a he or a she. That's why they had all of these pink clothes and dresses for it.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Like, it's entirely plausible the dad's insane. The
That would
wife
actually
was thinking
be-
that the whole time.
That would be in character for some of the things he did.
Yeah.
The whole story, as done here, is a logical house of cards. The slightest gush of wind would knock it over. Ironically, their castle of a story was built on sand.
Oh! Don't build your house on the sandy land. Don't build it too near the shore. Oh, it might look kind of nice, but you'll have to build it twice. Yes, you'll have to build your house once more. You
Well,
gotta
then-
build your house upon a rock.
But you see, then you've
Make
got,
a good fan.
if the castle falls into the sand, therefore it becomes a bunch of rocks for the second house. So therefore you can have sand and a house, and it'll be great because you'll be on the beach.
Oh, the storms may come and go, but the truth of God you will know.
No, it won't.
Actually,
Knowledge is justified true belief that you have evidence for. Unless you can
best-
demonstrate it, it's not knowledge by definition.
I can demonstrate that if we build a house on the sand, it'll fall over. Unless you compact the sand, in which case, go ahead.
Titanic
What if
water.
I built... Excuse me.
Wasn't that? There is actually part of it closed off due to sinking.
Wait, they've officially closed part of it.
Yeah, they officially closed a corner of it.
They've closed a quarter of the Titanic quarter.
Yeah.
Oh
By the way,
my
there's a
God.
building in Belfast called the Titanic Quarter. I was in it recently for a Lego exhibition, which was utter shit, by the way. Don't pay for it.
Oh.
But yeah, it was like half a room, and it was mostly dealer. It was like Comic Con again. But it was on the same day as well. But the Titanic Quarter is built on reclaimed land and is officially sinking, and part of it is now closed off due to water damage. And the fact that it's sinking.
The Titanic Memorial Museum is sinking.
Yeah.
Well, that's the true Titanic experience. That's ridiculous.
But you're saying you can't build a house on sand. Technically you can, because I would love to actually hear Jesus give that sort of analogy, and I'd be like, what if you have a house that's got a lot of rocks, then you put a thin layer of sand, and then you build the house on top of that, because you like sand. Technically it's on top of sand.
What if you build a beachfront property on and just put pilings into the sand, and technically it's built on sand?
You should
Yeah,
find
and then Jesus would be
foundation
like, stop
layer,
being
right?
smart, and I'd be like, well, God shouldn't have made me smart.
What if you use cement to make your foundations? It's mostly sand.
Loopholes. Loopholes everywhere.
Parables aren't meant to be taken literally. I will take
Then why do we have to take you serious at all? Well, if we're going to take it not literally, then we can take it any way you like. Okay, I'm not taking your parable literally, therefore it's good to build on sand. Do. That's the thing, whenever you say it's not meant to be taken literally, then anything literally can go. Ironically, literally.
Literally or literally?
Or figuratively.
The Oxford American Dictionary now has one of the definitions of literally listed as figuratively. Deal with it.
Wait, figuratively is now literally as well, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
No, I just mean, if you say
English.
that... if you-
Jesus was a carpenter. He wasn't a fucking architect, okay?
According to the
Jesus
Baha'is, he
don't
was
know
a dyer of
shit.
cloth. And it was Joseph who was a carpenter.
he dyed cloth.
According to the Baha'is, which is a smaller monotheistic religion.
That's okay.
They said that was a bit of special knowledge that their founder was given, and he gave out that it wasn't in the Bible, like an extra bit of sort of.
Yeah, it never states that Jesus is a carpenter, just that his earthly father Joseph was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
Most people extrapolate that he was, but the Baha'is are like, nah, he wasn't. Dyer of cloth.
He worked in the souk. He would have smelled like dog shit all the time.
That's why he hung out with fishermen. Therefore, they smelled better.
So the Baha'is believe Jesus smelled like dog shit. Good to know.
Yay. That's a good image.
Well,
for
given
our-
given the fact that he lived 2,000 years ago in the middle of a fucking desert, and in a small, really compact place without any drainage, I got the feeling most people would smell like shit.
But he
compared
couldn't
to
have
us.
been a king then. He wouldn't have been king of the Jews. Because he had shit on him.
Oh yeah,
Mounted by the Holy Grail.
that's where that was. How I remember that. It's like that's not familiar.
But the point is, whenever you say that a thing shouldn't be taken literally, that opens the door for you to take it any way you like.
Yeah,
Okay, well, what about the parable of the sowing of the seeds? Are we literally seeds?
we are seeds.
No, it just means you can interpret it any way you want.
Yes.
So literally, for
That's
that
what I
one,
believe about the Bible.
so I can be all like, okay, the seeds clearly represent the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the sower is clearly Darth Vader. I don't know what this means, but that's obviously what he was talking about, because Jesus can see the future.
Maybe God just wanted bread. It was like, Jesus, make us bread. I'm hungry. Why?
The Judas Project is much funnier than this.
Yeah, this isn't very funny.
Yeah.
It's just kind
Got a
of...
fiery sky anus.
It's stupid.
There was one good bit of the film, though, seriously.
Really?
Yeah, when the sister decks the two guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I did like that.
She was just sister best character in this film.
And she's not racist. She punched both the black guy and the white guy.
Yeah, no, not racist.
Yeah, she's like, did you punch a boy in school? No, I punched two.
Yeah, just, oh, snap.
There was some camera work that kept happening in the church that really put me off because they were panning over the whole crowd. And then every time they stopped on a single person, it was always making sure there was one black person in frame. It was like pan shots over all the white people. There's a black guy in the church, it's okay.
We're non-discriminative.
And then there was the woman. He goes to see the psychiatrist, knowledge woman about the thing, and she was all like, okay, near-death experiences are all explainable, blah 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 blah, all reality, science, etc. And he's
like, are you even a Christian?
And he's like, I'm glad that you're not a Christian because I want you to be harsh with me. And then she was harsh with him and he got pissed off.
Yeah.
Then at the end, she's in the church for some reason. Was there a subplot where she suddenly became a Christian because the movie said so? Yeah, he was like, and then there's some people who were cruel to me. And then he looks over at her. Rather than looking at the fat woman who was cruel, he looked at this woman who was in there for one scene.
Yeah, she was there for all of
I don't even understand why.
Less than that.
In movie time, maybe 10 minutes.
Less than that.
Oh, God.
I don't even understand why he went to her. She summed it up pretty well. It was like, he went to her and was like, I want a psychologist to tell me about near-death experience. She's like, well, hallucinations are pretty common. But what if he saw God, you lying bitch? And she's like, well, dude, I don't know. I'm not religious. And then he's like, well, you're a crap. And she's like, did you come here to fight me or to actually ask me questions? And he's like, I don't know, and left.
What I don't get is the whole, okay, some people seem to be accepting, yeah, the kid went to heaven. Did he die, though? No, he didn't die. But why? He should have died. So technically he didn't come back to life then.
No.
He was always alive.
Never died.
And he's always like, and then he miraculously came back to life. And it's like, but he didn't die.
Dude, he went to heaven a couple of times. He was looking at a bird feeder at one point and it turned into Jesus. It's just like, hi, I'm just visiting. Jesus actually went, this is just a visit.
You're just visiting? Like, well, thanks, Jesus.
Yeah, okay. If he had actually died and it was a near-death experience, okay, near-death experiences are explainable by science easily. Anyone who tells you they're not doesn't know this shit, or they're being deliberately lying to you, or they're ignorant. But this kid, because the first time he went, dream, makes it even less likely that he was actually in heaven.
Yeah.
And then he starts seeing visions and going back to heaven when he sees things that resemble Jesus a little bit. And then you just go over into mental illness territory. Or over excitable imagination.
The kid's 4. He's allowed to have visions.
Yeah.
Hell, I hallucinated whenever I was 4.
You hallucinate now.
I know.
That's a pretty damn standard 4-year-old, though. He sees things. As the guy, Sandman,
I don't recall doing that as a 4-year-old.
I did. I was just like crazy. And
You never had an imaginary friend?
No.
everyone had imaginary friends.
Well, in fairness, I wasn't born when you were 4.
I did not have an imaginary friend.
Are imaginary friends like a thing that came in our phase of childhood?
I don't know, maybe my generation is just mentally ill. You're younger than me.
No, here's the thing. I never had an
2
imaginary
years.
friend, but occasionally I would pretend that some inanimate objects were imaginary friends just to fuck with people.
Wait, what? That's terrific, actually.
She's an evil, logical wanker.
What do you think of my chair? I don't get it. He's my bestest friend. He's got chair. Oh, God.
I used to pretend that my left hand wasn't under my own control.
Oh, you pretended to have alien hand syndrome.
Yes.
How do we know? Like,
No, I would just
Can
be...
you control it?
I would just be sitting in...
how do I know I'm doing this? How do I know it's not the left hand telling me to do that?
No, I would be...
Well, actually, that's how the brain really works. We've worked out that before you think of a thought, your brain is actually creating it for you. So actually, in a very general way, you are a literal plaything of your brain. You are not... You yourself are an emergent property of the brain. You are not something that controls it.
Well, I'm being mind controlled by my own mind.
I used to do this whenever...
No, by a pile of meat.
They're made of meat.
I love
But
that.
no, whenever I was younger,
I'm so unromantic about the universe, aren't I?
I would sit in the back of the car and do this. And my brother would be like, Dad, he's hitting me. And I'm like, I can't control it. It won't stop. Help me.
Thanks, dude. You had to grow me in that.
You
But
love it.
anyway, you recall during the Conjuring thing when we were talking about...
Fuck The Conjuring.
Oh yeah, The Conjuring is fucking terrible.
Never seen it.
But,
Don't
okay.
want to see it.
my view on this sort of stuff is, don't know if you saw the Conjuring vlog, but I saw a ghost, and I was in an abandoned mental hospital at the time, and I saw a ghost of a nurse.
It was a school. She wasn't just randomly in an abandoned mental
Yes,
I
hospital.
was about to say, I was like, what the hell?
The abandoned mental hospital was turned into a school briefly, and I was there, and I saw this nurse ghost, and I asked janitor type person if there was supposed to be any ghosts in there, and he said that there was supposed to be a grey or white lady, and that's what I saw, who was like a nurse or something. However, very, very shortly afterwards, I started thinking logically about the thing, and I was like, okay, I was sitting in a hallway for ages and ages and ages, and then I saw something, go past.
Yeah.
I know I'm in a former mental institution. I know ghosts are traditionally seen as white or grey. Who are you going to see in a mental institution? Doctor or nurse, most likely.
That's true, yeah.
So, I put all these things together and figured my mind was playing tricks on me, and while it would be interesting, I think it's much more likely that my mind was playing tricks on me, and ghosts, I have not seen a ghost. I have seen a ghost, but I do not believe in them. And this is why
Okay.
this is me walking the walk as I talk the talk about, dealing with the supernatural in a logical way. I do that shit in real life too.
Hallucinations are just so frequent to me, I don't even know if he's real, so...
Thanks.
I don't! I have no way to prove whether or not you are. My hallucinations are tangible and they speak to me.
Well, they'll know whenever they see it. It's
Well-
like, there's just an empty seat.
Yeah, they will. And
Why would I be in the back then?
I don't know, I could be hallucinating that you're talking to him.
Joint hallucination?
One day we totally need to do a vlog where I'm sitting in the back and there's no one there, and we're acting as though there's someone there.
Oh, you have to edit that out now!
Damn it, they know! Where's our little Men in Black mind eraser thingy?
I don't know, there's Dexter Morgan right there. He could help.
It's like perfectly positioned. Exactly.
Yeah, I have a little bobblehead Dexter Morgan sitting right there. He can kill you all.
He looks like Anakin Skywalker.
That's what I thought it was at first, but then
You
I
thought it was
him.
me!
I thought it was him as well, because the hair, it's the same.
From behind, anyway.
He's Dexter. I'm scared.
I could be a serial killer.
I'm scared.
Crime of the week.
You'd never get around to it.
No way. Kind of the week. I could do it.
They
Preemptive.
You'd be too gay for Miami.
Archer.
Nothing is too gay for Miami!
Orlando is.
Remember the first time Archer went to Miami? He was too gay for Miami. The two gay guys said it.
See? Okay, that's 33 minutes in. We're gonna in a couple of hours go to see Oculus.
It will be better than this.
Bad timing with these screenings, meaning we now have 2 hours to wait. But you will get the vlog pretty soon afterwards. But anyway, don't see Heaven is for Reals, yo. It is
And don't
fucking
buy the
awful.
Oculus Rift.
Oh. Go
Yeah.
on Twitter and look up the real Colton Burpo. It's a probable parody account which is supposed to be by the kid, and it's some of the most fucked up and amusing tweets ever.
Jesus is white.
Every single racist, crazy, evangelical, right-wing, homophobic, conspiracy theorist, insane shit all put together, and it's claiming to be by the kid. With the hashtag Heaven is for Real movie. It's great.
Well, the sister apparently gave a quote in the end credits that he's no angel, so...
Yeah, but this one has, lines that, that no one is black in heaven, stuff like that. That's the sort of thing he tweets out, so I'm hoping it's a parody. I think it's a parody.
You said nobody's autistic in heaven. Is that an actual quote?
That's paraphrasing that there was one about how no one's autistic in heaven because no one gets vaccinated.
Jeez.
Go and die.
But,
It's...
yeah.
Yeah,
It's really entertaining.
I don't want to destroy our watcher base, but if you believe that vaccines cause autism, please just never watch anything I'm in or have contributed ever to again, and set yourself on fire,
Hey.
you piece of shit.
Wow.
They could be ignorant, they could be deliberately, against it, or there's various possibilities for why they're thinking that.
If you have done adequate research and you're not just believing what somebody has told you, and you think that vaccine causes autism and you're not going to vaccinate your kids because of this, you're an evil piece of shit, and I hate you.
Look at me. I got plenty of injections. I turned out just fine. No, I didn't. I know I didn't.
Don't have a fucking nervous breakdown on camera.
I know, I'm not
If
insane.
Would you an addendum to Robyn's point that you can watch the videos but cover Robyn's face on the screen so I get the ad revenue?
Or just donate
Blur.
some money. Send it to whatever your postal address is.
Okay.
Put it in a jiffy bag and send it to it. I don't know what was your revenue for one video? 1/34 of a cent.
Not quite as bad as that.
Industrial saw. Just a bit of a scent. There we go.
Anyway, we're gonna go and see Oculus, but first probably something else. So bye.
Bye.